In a bombshell report that just came out, Hamas admitted that 1/3 of its data on Gazan deaths is incomplete. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to strike back at Iran for their unprecedented attack on Saturday night, saying that Israel will defend themselves in all sectors. And surprise, surprise, but proof just came out that Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is even more of a terror supporter than we thought. All this and more here on today's show. Stay tuned. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Before we jump into the message for today for the news, make sure to subscribe, whether you're watching on YouTube or other platforms. Also like this video, hit the notification bell so you never miss any of the content of the Israel Guys. Please consider making the effort to join us in Nashville, Tennessee on May 20th through the 22nd, the first ever Israel Guys Conference, the Israel Summit. We have an amazing lineup of speakers. There's going to be incredible speakers there from Judea and Samaria, also some VIPs, some top-level pastors, an amazing concert lined out. We're going to be showing different movies that you've never seen before, different videos. It's going to be an amazing conference, guys. We would love to see every single one of you there at the Sonesta Hotel, May 20th through the 22nd. Again, if you want any of us here at the Israel Guys who are here in the States right now, a couple of us are here still. If you would like us to come give an emergency update on Israel to your fellowship or congregation, you can email speakingtours@hayovel.com. We'll put that same email in the link in the description below. If you want me or Luke or also Brent and Mac are here in the States as well, we're ready to give an update on what is going on in Israel. We'd love to share what is going on and how you can best be standing with and supporting the nation of Israel, because it's more important now more than ever, I believe, to be standing up and showing our full-on support for Israel. So a quick update on Iran. You guys know there was the crazy unprecedented attack on Saturday night that had never happened before. Over 350 projectiles launched towards Israel. Thank God for his hand of protection on Israel. Is a big miracle that no one was killed. Only one person was injured. IDF Chief of Staff General Herzi Halevi, he visited the Ne'tavim airbase. This airbase was slightly damaged by several missiles. They were able to avoid the detection, and they damaged the airbase slightly, nothing major. So he visited this airbase, and he promised to retaliate against Iran. He said, quote, "We are looking ahead. We are considering our steps. In this launch of so many missiles, cruise missiles, and UAVs into the territory of the State of Israel will be met with a response." He also said in a video that the attack created new opportunities for cooperation in the Middle East. He made a short video in English. You can watch that.
We are closely assessing the situation. We remain at our highest level of readiness. Iran will face the consequences for its actions. We will choose our response accordingly. The IDF remains ready to counter any threat from Iran and its terror proxies as we continue our mission to defend the State of Israel.
You know, I think Israel is sort of in kind of a tough spot right now, because they do want to retaliate against Iran, which I absolutely think they need to do. They have to retaliate against Iran to show strength. That's what's respected in the Arab world. However, they also want to avoid a massive regional war, so they have to be careful what they're doing. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Tuesday that Israel is determined to achieve victory over its enemies in, quote, all sectors. He told recruits at the Israel Defense Forces Induction Center in Ramat Gan. Quote, "You are joining the IDF in magnificent combat units in order to repel a brutal enemy, the monsters who attacked us. You want to win? You are ready to fight? That is exactly what is needed. There are 3 objectives. 1, to eliminate Hamas. 2, to return the hostages. And 3, to ensure that Hamas never again constitutes a threat to Israel. This is part of a greater campaign. You see this. Iran stands behind Hamas, behind Hezbollah, and behind others, but we are determined to win there and to defend ourselves in all sectors." So Netanyahu is saying, yes, there's going to be a response. General Herzi Halevi is saying, yes, there has to be some kind of response against Iran. To what scale, not sure exactly quite yet, but we will be finding out in the coming days. We will keep you updated as news comes out about that. So a bombshell report is crazy. Just came out. It's not surprising. However, it is surprising that Hamas would admit this. They admitted that 1/3 of their data on Gazan deaths reported throughout the war is incomplete. In their own words, incomplete. So the report, it was actually from April 6th, said that Hamas had, quote, incomplete data for 11,371 of the 33,091 recorded Palestinian deaths, it claims, and is missing 1 or more key data points, including identity number, full name, date of birth, or date of death. This isn't a surprise, honestly. You know, we shouldn't be surprised. It's run, the Gaza Health Ministry, who is putting up these numbers, is run by Hamas. We know that they're counting terrorists as civilians. They're counting everyone as civilians, whether they're terrorists or not. And it's crazy to me. It's wild that the world would in any way at all trust any numbers coming out of the Gaza Health Ministry at all. I don't know about you, but for me, it sort of seems like common sense. It feels like common sense that you shouldn't trust the word of a terrorist organization. Like that's just basic facts. Like, you shouldn't trust the word of a murderer. If they're a murderer, they'll most likely also be a liar as well. They won't have any scruples about lying as well. David Adesnik, director of the research at the Washington-based Foundation for Defense of Democracies, said, quote, "The sudden shifts in ministry's reporting methods suggest it is scrambling to prevent exposure of its shoddy work. For months, U.S. media have taken for granted that the ministry's top-line figure for casualties was reliable enough to include in daily updates on the war. Now we're seeing that 1/3 or more of the ministry's data may be incomplete at best and fictional at worst." So we knew that the numbers were absolutely not to be trusted at all coming out of the Gaza Health Ministry, but now we have even more actual proof about how corrupted these actual numbers are. Guys, we're going to get into the latest on a ceasefire deal. But first, envision a soldier celebrating Passover amidst the chaos of the battlefield. In these times of hardship, Mpanim emerges as a beacon of hope and solidarity, reaching from the tense borders of Lebanon through to the heart of Gaza and touching the lives of the displaced Holocaust survivors and poverty-stricken families. The urgency of their need beckons us to respond with compassion and immediacy. Mpanim is dedicated to ensuring that every defender of the land experiences the sense of liberation and unity inherent in Passover. Through the distribution of pantry essentials, prepaid food cards, festive meals, and Passover necessities like matzah, we extend a hand of support across the breadth of Israel. Inspired by Psalm 82, 3 and 4, which urges us to defend the weak and the fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed, rescue the weak and the needy, deliver them from the hand of the wicked, we are propelled into action. We invite you to partake in reinstating the warmth and celebration of the holiday for those battling adversity. Be it in an unstocked kitchen, the pain of loss, or the yearning for a family member's safe return from Gaza, your aid ensures no one is left behind this Passover. Your prompt support is vital in affording them the joy and dignity of celebration. Make a difference today by donating to Mpanim. You can click the link in the description below. Guys, let's unite to free them from anguish, scarcity, and fear, making this Passover a testament to hope and freedom. So here's the latest on a ceasefire deal with Hamas. A senior Israeli official said on Monday evening that Hamas's response to the mediator's latest proposal — there have been many proposals that Hamas has rejected — Hamas's response to the latest proposal for a deal included agreeing to release only 20 of its 133 hostages in exchange for a 6-week ceasefire. Also, to get a bunch of terrorists out of prison, which we'll talk about in a second. I got this from Arut Sheva. They said this is the half of the number of hostages the latest proposed deals have called for Hamas to release. And according to the source in Hamas, there are several reasons that indicate that there may not be more than this number of hostages still alive, unfortunately. Hamas also, while demanding a 6-week ceasefire, which would be incredibly beneficial to them, they're also demanding the release of terrorists serving high prison sentences, like murderers. They're demanding the release of murderers for the hostages who would be handed over to Israel. Also, that's not the only demand they're making. They're also demanding international guarantees for a complete stop to the war, which is absolutely insane. Honestly, kind of crazy that we're negotiating with a terrorist organization at all to start with. However, I think it's pretty obvious that Hamas doesn't. I guess they don't want a deal, which, because of these insane, crazy terms that they're putting out, they obviously don't want a deal, which doesn't really make sense, and it's not really smart on their part, because a ceasefire deal for them would be crazy beneficial. U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said on Monday evening that Israel had, quote, moved significantly from its previous position, but it is Hamas that now stands as an obstacle to a ceasefire in Gaza. There's a significant offer that came from us and our partners last week. There's a deal on the table that allowed Hamas to get most of what they wanted, and they did not agree. If they had agreed, it would have led to an immediate ceasefire in Gaza for 6 weeks, which would have helped the Palestinian citizens whom they claim to represent. Are you not getting it? Hamas does not care about their citizens. Absolutely not in any way, not one bit. They do not care at all. Guys, speaking of terrorists, or at least terrorist supporters, if not a terrorist, Rashida Tlaib, yes, is even more of a terrorist supporter than we thought. We all know she's a terrorist supporter. She's been crazy anti-Israel, and the statements she's made about genocide and everything is absolutely insane. But it just got worse, if you can imagine that. She posted this picture on X with the caption, quote, I presented Palestinian journalist Motaz Azaza with a congressional record for his coverage of the Palestinian people and his commitment to telling their stories. Thank you, Azaza Motaz, for your fearless journalism. We pray for your healing in the end of the genocide in Gaza. So first of all, she's calling it a genocide in Gaza. Now, who is this guy? Who is this journalist? His bio on Twitter, or X, says this. It will tell you everything you need to know. His bio says, a genocide survivor trying to tell more. That's his bio. But it gets worse. On October 7th, this journalist that Rashida Tlaib was just praising and honoring, this journalist posted and then deleted a video of Hamas terrorists inside of the Israeli communities with this caption in Arabic. The Gazans entered the settlements with jeeps we see in the streets of Gaza. So he's celebrating that Hamas was inside of Israel and killing innocent Israeli civilians, and Rashida Tlaib just honored this guy. Rashida also said, quote, today I want to recognize Motaz Azaza, a Palestinian journalist, for his ongoing coverage of the Palestinian people and his commitment to telling their stories. Mr. Azaza has focused his life's work on capturing the daily life of Palestinians in Gaza. Oh, you didn't mention also celebrating the murder of innocent Israelis. She went on, since the war began, he has bravely used his platform to document the ongoing genocide in Gaza and the lives of the innocent people who have been killed. Mr. Azaza's images on the ground have exposed the war crimes being committed by the Israeli government for the world to see. And this lady is in our Congress. Guys, this is not okay. This is hate speech. This is incitement to violence. This should not be tolerated. Honestly, an investigation needs to be made into Rashida Tlaib. Guys, in conclusion, as we close out the show, make sure to pray for Israel. If you can't do anything else, if you can't raise your voice for Israel, just pray for Israel. They need it now more than ever, and they need to know that there are Christians all over the world that are standing and praying for their safety and wisdom and defense. Make sure to check out Mpanim, the incredible work that they're doing. You can click the link in the description below to donate to them today. Don't forget to subscribe, get the conversation going down below. Comment your thoughts on this matter or on what is happening in Israel in general. And as always, tune out the fake news and tune in what is actually happening in the land of Israel. We'll be back every day, Monday through Friday, with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.